Hi, good afternoon everyone. Welcome new viewers and returning viewers alike. My name is Shannon Bellum. This is a podcast about knitting and crafting, and it's mostly knitting. I do have some sewing to talk to you about today, as well as some other like experimental crafting that I did. So let me jump right off. Oh, you can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Bellum Make. I am Bellum Make pretty much everywhere. I'm going to jump right into my finished object. I have finished the Go-To Raglan. I have not yet woven in those ends, but yeah, I finished it. I have both sleeves. I did a pretty nice job matching them, don't you think? Matching the striping. I was a little concerned about it. I will post a picture of me wearing this so you can see it on. The last couple podcasts that I did or recordings that I did, I had a lot of problems with my either my Go-To Raglan or my work in progress, which I'm going to show you in a sec, blowing out the colors. So I thought I put Martha in a very bland neutral. This is one of my sewing things that I'll talk to you about in a little bit. But I put her in a bland thing, and I decided not to put the Go-To Raglan, which is incredibly bright and rich colors that are not showing well on screen, even when I bring it in close. Those actually, that isn't too far off. That pink is super bright. Yeah. So, since this is the last time, I'm actually really happy with it. I don't think I'm gonna keep it for myself. I'm gonna put it in a pile of potential gifts for Christmas right now. And I'm gonna just see, I don't have anybody in mind for this, but I'm gonna just see, you know, as Christmas gets closer and I figure out who it is I'm going to be gifting, I'm going to figure out whether or not this is going to go to someone in my family or a dear friend, maybe someone who's knit-worthy will get it. And if I don't, if it's not a natural fit, I'll start wearing it in January. We'll still have cool weather for quite a while. It's blazing hot right now today. I'm coming to you from northern New Jersey, and we're having the hottest day of the weekend. We had like kind of some drippy, dreary days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Today is really blazing hot. It's like close to 90. If it's not already 90, it's very humid. So I'm indoors I'm wearing a t-shirt, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute because it's one of my crafty experiments. Yeah, and I have shorts on. Anyway, this is a knitting podcast, not a weather podcast, and what I'm wearing podcast. So yeah, this is my Go-To Raglan. I really want to make another one. I talked about this last week. But yeah. Okay, sticking with, should I tell you about the yarns one sec real quick? Obviously I used a lot of scraps to do the striping, but I did, the pattern instructions tell you that you need 1 full skein for the neck trim and waistband trim, and what I did was I didn't use the same colors for waistband and neck. I did the cuffs and neck the same colors, and then I used a different color for the waistband, and coincidentally this color that I used on the waistband was one of my scrappy colors. I still have so many scraps left, which is one reason why I want to make another one of these. They really don't use very many scraps. That's the truth. I ended up for the whole thing carrying through a color that I have just a dab left, which is now going to be part of my scraps. This is a Primrose Yarn Company color. Come on, camera, there we go. I affectionately call this like a camo, a desert camo color. It's like shades of beige and, sorry about the blur, man. Come on camera. my camera's usually much better at focusing than it is at this moment. I'm not sure what, there we go. See? So it's like, it's kind of a true neutral with all those speckles just kind of really blending in with the beigey, grayy tones. It's not really a color that I would, I'd make a whole sweater out of, but it worked really well in my go-to Raglan, in that it just helped neutralize those bright stripes and make everything look like it goes together. And I am gonna make another one. So when I make another one, I am going to do the same exact thing, carry one color through the whole thing. And this, as I said, was Primrose Yarn Company. It's her Sophia base, which is her MCN, and the color is called Witching Hour. I bought it last year right around this time. And it's, you know, I guess it's like supposed to be inspired by like the twilight hours or something like that. So I had 2 skeins of this, and this is what I have left. So I know that now I know that the go-to Raglan, to fit me, 2 skeins to carry through the whole thing, a fingering weight is plenty. So now that I know that, it sort of opened up my eyes into, you know, some of the other things that, some of the other fingering weight yarns that I have 2 skeins of. This is what I have left of my full skein that was supposed to be my neck and waistband, but ended up being my necks and cuffs. It is GarnStories. The color is called Ikebana. I don't know if this is a shop regular. I have so much GarnStories in my stash. I love her. She is a German dyer, Germany-based dyer. Shipping from Germany is no more expensive than shipping from California for me. So it's around $5 to $8 or so, depending on how much you're buying for your shipping costs from Germany. But I've been a club member of her past yarn clubs. I've bought things at her sales and stuff over the past couple years, as well as I've bought surprise packages, because you guys know, you returning viewers know, I don't mind surprises. In fact, sometimes when I can't make up my mind, I just pick surprise. So yeah, so this is her, sorry, Merino Sox base, which is the 75-25 superwash nylon blend. So yeah, so that's my go-to Raglan. Yay, it's done, NFO! This makes my 8th sweater that I finished this year. So I have basically one a month, and I'm about to finish another one. I think I will finish it this week. So, which brings me to my next work in progress, knitting work in progress. So I am, talk about surprise color, and look how bright this is. So this actually now is looking pretty close to its color on screen. The orange in here is very neon-y. So this orange right here is super neon-y. But this is, I'm actually gonna swing it on to Martha here, because this is gonna be my Rhinebeck outfit. Or at least maybe Indie Untangled outfit. So I am working on a cardigan of my own design that is knit all in one piece, no seaming rather. And I wanted it to be long and rather slouchy, which it is. It is a V-neck. Let me just pull those guys down a bit so you can see. The buttons will start right there. So this is a straight edge. There are pockets, which are inside, so they're not patch pockets. You won't see it on the outside. You just, they will be on the inside. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do on the trim here. I might do like 2 rows of 1x1 in the GarnStories color. So this is the, I'm sorry, I'm doing like a really bad job. How to practice. Do kind of a bad job explaining everything. I'm like too many things in my head that I'm just trying to get all out to you as soon as possible. But yeah, so this is supposed to be, you can see on Martha, there's her little tushy. This is supposed to go down over the tush, which it does. I'm so happy with it. I love the color work. I wanted to do something that was very simple color work wise, and something that would contrast with the body, this highly speckled body. So let me tell you my yarn so that you're not confused. This is what I have left of, actually I have another full skein of the body color. I had 4 skeins total. This is GarnStory, again with GarnStory. Hang on. GarnStory to her DK weight. This is a DK weight cardigan. The color is called La Boom. So it's supposed to call together or call to mind like an explosion, or I thought maybe fireworks because I got it around in July at some point, right around the 4th of July. It's 100% new wool merino superwash, 250 meters to 100 grams. I got 4 skeins of it, and when I got it, I decided that I wanted to make a cardigan, and I realized that I would probably not have enough yarn to make a long cardigan like what I had in mind. So I went online and just looked for yarns that would go with it, and I knew I wanted a tonal and I figured I would do some color work and then also do this like color dip thing at the bottom. So I ended up with this right here, and this is, oh my god, I love this. This is just gorgeous. Not sure what those white things are on there. Just some fuzzies probably from my sewing. This is a Countess Ablaze DK. Let me tell you more about it. Countess Ablaze DK, her Grand Merino, 100% superwash extra fine merino. It's 115 grams or 225 meters. So I bought myself 2 skeins of this. So I had 6 skeins total, 4 of the GarnStory and 2 of the Countess Ablaze. This part of the sweater took me almost or a little over 1 skein. I ended up using the 2nd skein for the last like 8 rows or so of the 1x1 rib trim that's down here. Look at how it just disappears though. I just love it. Oh my goodness. It is so beautiful. Yeah. So that's my sweater so far. I just have sleeves to do and then the pocket trimming to work out, and then the pattern is pretty much ready. I'll of course block it, get some test knitters. I'm actually looking for test knitters now, so if anyone is interested in test knitting this sweater, it doesn't matter. It's supposed to be a little bit my intent was for it to be a little bit slouchier on the body than it is, than it's showing on Martha, and I think it will expand a bit because it is superwash. So I think it will expand a bit when I block it. But if you're interested in test knitting for me, I'm planning to release the pattern September 30th. So yeah, you would have a few weeks to knit it. You need a total of probably 4 skeins of this and 2 of this, or maybe 1.5 of this would probably be fine. I do have a little color work planned on the sleeves, which you know you'll see next week, because I probably will have these sleeves done by next week. So this will probably be an FO in my next podcast, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, I'll have the buttons to do too. And buttons are optional, of course. Like if you are not a button cardigan person and you like to wear your cardigans open, that's fine. You can do that. I did alternate skeins throughout the body on the with the GarnStory color, the highly speckled GarnStory. I stopped alternating though here, and I do think I got a little bit of pooling effect with the color like this. There's a lot of heavy fuchsia purpley color down here in the bottom. which I don't feel like I really got. Maybe a little bit in there with alternating colors. I don't think I'm going to alternate colors on the sleeves either. I do think I'm going to use what's left of this skein for sure, and probably parts of a little bit of the other skein in order to get the 2 sleeves done. I'll be surprised if I can get the sleeves out of this skein. I think this is probably about 2/3 of a skein right now. I haven't weighed it though. I have my circular needle stuck in there for my sleeve work. So, because I start my sleeves on a short circular. And this is a Chawagoo. I never talk about needles, but I know other podcasters do. I love Chawagoo. I have a lot of Addies. I started out with knitting with a lot of Addies, but Chawagoo, the wire doesn't kink, so it's really awesome. And I hope to have more Chawagoo in the future. As I need more needles, I'm making sure that I'm buying those. So anyway, yeah, I start my sleeve on a short circular. I think this is a 16-inch, and then I switch to DPNs, double pointed needles, for the rest. So yeah, tiny bit of color work left for the sleeves. It probably won't use much of the skein. I'll probably have at least 80 or 85%. Right now this is about 90% of the original skein. So I will probably have about 80-85% of the original skein when I'm done. So I would say, like, you could probably easily do this sweater if you do my size or smaller with a skein of DK that's about 250 meters. I'm not sure what the yards are, but I can, if you have questions about it, if you're interested in testing and you have questions about it, I will let you know. Send me an email. I'll put an email down. I'll put my email down in the box below. So you can just send me an email and say that you're interested in test knitting. And it doesn't even matter. You don't have to finish before my pattern's published. You just, if you get, through this part, I'm never worried about my sleeves. Like I know the sleeves will work. And people tend to modify their sleeves anyway to make them the way they want them. So if you think you can do that and you'd like to test knit, yeah, tell me. So I so love it. This, what else can I tell you about it? There's a raglan sleeve detail here. Wait, let me take it off Martha so I can show you up close. I'll put it back on her later when I'm talking about sewing, because I want to talk to you about my Rhinebeck thing. So there's a sleeve detail here, raglan sleeve detail, that ends just at the end of the sleeve. So once you're done with that, with the sleeve, when you split for the sleeves, that ends, and then it's just stockinette. Aside from there is a 1x1 front trim that you do. You knit together. You knit with the body. So yeah, really easy. And yeah, and then the pockets are there, and oh my god, this color, I love it. I was watching Amy of Stranded Dye Works podcast, and she is going to start a black sweater, and she was saying, like, she'd probably regret it, because knitting a dark color, you need like very bright light. Knitting in the dark, or in like even with the light of say if you have TV or YouTube on or whatever on your television, it's not enough light. And I definitely experienced that, especially when I was doing the 1x1 rib, and when I would like glance down at my work to see where I was, it was very difficult to see it. It's a really dark color. And if it weren't for that, I would probably make a full sweater out of it. I might still. It's just beautiful. It did really turn my hands black, though, when I was knitting. I mean, really black. Like my fingers where I was gripping on either side, and this finger where I run the yarn over the tension, and my pinky were all really, really black. So for that, I was glad to be done with it. And I'm not worried about bleeding at all, not with this speckle. And I also I think a lot of what happens on your hands when you're knitting with indie dyed yarns is about your hormones. So about what hormones are coursing through your body. I think that is why you get this hormonal reaction, this sort of oil and hormonal reaction between your skin and the yarn, and I think that's why you get a lot of, you know, color rub off on your skin. So yeah, so that's my next soon to be finished object, my next whip, and my next new design release. So super excited about that. I'm gonna leave this over here because I'm gonna talk to you about that again in a few minutes. And then what else do I have to talk about? Oh, knitting, my other work in progress. I cast on, so I talked about this last week. Did I bring over? I didn't. Okay, that's okay. I can do this without. Last week I talked about that I had met with Tabitha of Long Island Yarn and Farms, and that I had, she had asked me, she had commissioned me to design 2 different designs for her shop. And the way it works when a yarn company commissions a designer is that they pay you for the pattern, so that they can either pay you to distribute the pattern for 1 year or a limited amount of time, like 1 year or 2 years or whatever, and then you get the rights back to the pattern, or they can outright buy the pattern. So we didn't get into the details of what my deal deal with her is going to be, except that we talked about that I would knit 2 designs for her. So I was able to look through her stock of yarn and pick yarns that I really was drawn to and really liked, and I brought them home and I started to scheme, basically. And so for the next couple months, I will be spending a lot of time working on both of these designs, as well as like moving my other works in progress along. So I really want to get my new cardigan design completed, and at least like out of my hands and in test knitters' hands, and the tech editing done and all of that, photographs, I'll get all of that done, and then I'll be able to really concentrate on these 2 new designs. So yeah, so I picked up 4 skeins of yarn from her and brought them home and started to think about them. 2 of them were her sport weight and 2 were fingering weight. So I decided that it was my 2 sport weight skeins were going to become a cardigan. So a Raglan top-down knit cardigan with some color work, similar to this one, but not. But with a lot of, you know, some important changes. Not as long. It's going to be more. This is Martha's waist right here, so it'll be like a high hip. It'll probably end about here on her. You can see there's her high hip, so it'll probably end like right about there. It's important to keep the yields down with boutique yarn like this. This yarn is really expensive, so I decided to do a shorter sweater to keep the costs down for the knitter who is interested in purchasing a kit or something from Long Island Yarn and Farm. She will be showing at Rhinebeck, and she'll also be at Vogue Knitting Live in Minneapolis, and she'll be at Vogue Knitting Live in New York City in January. So all of those events are coming up for her, and it's really important for her to have some patterns to show with her yarn. So my goal, I told her I would try really hard to get 1 done by Rhinebeck, and then I would work on the second one to get it done by the time she goes to Minneapolis, which is in this, I think it's the second weekend. It's Veterans Day weekend in November. So, and that should be plenty of time. I shouldn't have any trouble making either one of those. So the fingering weight, I decided to make a shawl. So what I'm going to show you, what I'm about to show you, is the beginnings of a shawl design. So I hope I can show this to you without it looking too out of whack. Okay. So this is going to be, I know it kind of looks like a hat. It's because my circular needle is a little too short now. I need to switch to a longer needle. But this is going to be a center out knit. And the idea is that you start with a circle in the center, and then it goes to a square, which, let me see if I can show you that. It goes to a square, see? And then from a square, it goes to a rectangle. hang on, gotta find the long side. So this is one of the long sides of the rectangle. So I'm on the rectangle part now. The other thing I decided to do was that every time, aside from the center, which is there, this is just a whole bunch of increases because you're just going around and around increasing. I decided that the contrast color, the deep purple, I think it's called Purple Haze, would be all eyelets. So, and then the neutral color, this, I think she calls it citrine color, so it's after a stone, would be all garter. So that is, yeah, this is the beginning of my center out knit. And I think, I'm gonna just move Martha over for a sec, because behind me, I cleaned up my design board, it's in the back, and behind me you can see the design. You see it right there. So that's the idea. It looks so clunky there in the sketch, but in the flesh, isn't it gorgeous? I wish you could feel this. We need field TV because this is to die for. It's to die for. Let me tell you about the yarns. I feel really lucky to be able to knit with this yarn. This is the base color right here. Citrine, it's called. I'm going to show you the tag. It is an 80-20 alpaca silk blend. And you can see the price, so you see why it's important. I'm not sure what the camera's interested in right now. So you can see why it's important to keep the cost of the pattern down. It's 400 yards, so it's a, you know, regular fingering weight. And then the purple is also unique. It is called Purple Haze. And it is 65 alpaca, 10% bamboo, and 25% superwash merino. Well, she wrote wool, so I don't know if it's merino. This particular skein that I used is a 300-yard skein, but she normally sells them in 400 yards. So it would also be $60. So this design will use 800 yards or slightly under. I'm working my way through the design with that in mind. So this will be a 2-skein shawl. And because of the significant amount of alpaca in the wools, I forgot, let me show you that. It's attached to my knitting, so that's the purple. How gorgeous is that? Because of the alpaca, there should be a lot of growth in the blocking, especially with garter. So garter stitch, when you garter stitch, there's a lot of stretch and a lot of growth in the blocking. And then when you throw alpaca in the mix, there's also a lot of growth. So I'm spending a lot of time with this knit right here, opening it up, and also the lace will also cause blocking. I mean, a lot of stretch. So I'm spending a lot of time opening it up to just see the width of those stripes, to get a full idea of how that will actually stretch. So it'll be quite big, quite a lot larger looking when it's done than it is right now. So yeah, I'm so excited. I just started this morning. I wasn't planning to, but I had some time. I already had set up my stuff over here, you know, in my area where I podcast. I had already taken over my new cardigan design, and so I didn't feel like disrupting the flow of stuff over here by in my setup. I didn't want to like dig through and find the stuff that I was working on to start the sleeves, and I also thought it would be cleaner to show you the whole thing without like needles and yarn popping around. So, but I can knit sleeves really quickly, so I expect to have those sleeves done like just in the, you know, tomorrow morning, tomorrow all day. I'm in meetings all day, so I'll be doing a lot of knitting in meetings tomorrow, and then I have Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday to knit. So I should have no problem finishing these sleeves. I don't think. I mean, I think maybe 2 evenings at home, either reading or watching a show. I should finish it, I think. I also just wanted to say, oh my God, I love this French field bag. I know I talked about it last week. This is the new waxed canvas in the white. It's translucent, so you can see through it. It's so beautiful, and I think it's just the perfect match for my shawl design. So gorgeous. I use French Supply Company bags for almost everything. Also, I'm not feeling too well, so having a second glass of OJ this morning. Get my vitamin C up. I don't know what is going on. Fighting a cold. I guess maybe allergies or whatever. Okay, I think that's all my knitting other than future knitting. So I want to just talk to you about future knitting for a moment because I need your help. I don't know what to do next. I realized I have 3 future knitting projects, and I know I've talked about 2 of them here on the channel. One of them I have not talked about for a while. The other one I talked about, a second go-to raglan, I talked about last week. So I don't know what to cast on next. I got interested in making the Rocquaine sweater, which I'm going to pop a picture here online on screen so you can see it, because I was watching my favorite podcaster, Amy of Stranded Dye Works. She's doing a Rocquaine knit along, and it started on Saturday on the 1st, on September 1st. It's 2 months, so it's going through the month of September and the month of October, and which is plenty of time to make a DK weight sweater. And I started to think about, I was interested in it when she made it last year. Around this time of year last year, she made one, and she had used an alpaca blend and found that it lost its alpaca is known for its lack of resiliency. So when you pull wool out, it goes right back, and it'll continue to do that. And I've talked about resiliency before in the past, but alpaca will go back, and then eventually it won't go back anymore. Cotton is the same, and linen too. They don't have a lot of resiliency, so when you stretch it, it doesn't go back. It just that's why t-shirts that are made out of cotton, or even cotton socks, after about a year of wearing, they'll have stretched out necklines if it's a t-shirt, and if it's a sock, it'll just it grows and it just doesn't go back. And that's why when you buy cotton socks, often they have some sort of elastic in them. So alpaca is the same. And so Amy had made this Rocquaine sweater out of an alpaca blend, and she found that the yarn, the sweater eventually just hung on her and did not, it didn't regain its original shape. So she's making a second one, and she invited all her viewers and fans to join her in a knit along. So I think I want to jump on that bandwagon, and I realized that I have this, and I think you really need a tonal, I think, for the Rocquaine, because it has a lot of texture. So I realized I had this gorgeous DK weight from the Periwinkle Sheep, which is a dyer in upstate New York, Albany area. This is a 100% superwash merino, 225 yards out of 100 grams. And this is the Warm Ewe colorway. That is the name of the color. It's a color that she dyed specifically for a little local yarn shop in Chatham, New York, which is in the Hudson Valley area. Close to Albany, not too far from Albany, but not just off the Taconic Parkway, if you know New York State area well enough. It's probably the Warm Ewe in Chatham is about, I would say, about 45 minutes north of where Rhinebeck is. So I had bought that there, and I bought enough. I bought a sweater's quantity, and I had caked one skein. So you can see it's a tonal turquoise, which for the Rocquaine, this is perfect. I had originally bought this turquoise yarn. I bought it in the winter, this past winter. I had planned to make a new design out of it, that I was doing a collaboration with an indie dyer, not the Periwinkle Sheep, another indie dyer. And I decided to we decided to table working together, so this yarn has just been sitting around. So I have a sweater's quantity, and I was thinking that it would be good for the Rocquaine sweater, and it's beautiful. Like, what, I mean, for my skin tone and coloring, it's a good color for me. I find myself drawn to this color, which is why I bought it. So yeah, so I might cast on, maybe by the next time you see me. Probably not, because I really need to get through my commissioned work first. But definitely by mid to end September, I will have the Rocquaine sweater cast on. I think for Amy's Knit Along, you don't need to finish by the end of October, so that suits me. But yeah, I think it's a really good use. I'm all about using up stash when I can. So that's one potential cast on. My second potential cast on, which I haven't talked about in a long time, but I have it sitting here ready to go. Ready to go. It's the Sipila sweater by Caitlin Hunter. In Vogue Knitting Live this past January, I bought 3 skeins of La Bien-Aimée. La Bien-Aimée had good representation. She was represented by Stephen West at Vogue Knitting Live, by his shop, Stephen and Penelope. And I bought 3 skeins of this just because I fell in love with it because of that amazing blue. Look at that blue. And I loved the hits of copper in it. This color is called Le Littoral. And I have almost 2 skeins of this Hedgehog Fiber ink colorway. So I thought that my main body would be the La Bien-Aimée and my contrast color would be this ink colorway from Hedgehog Fibres. Both fingering singles. So yeah, that was my idea. That is my idea, and I'm planning to make the long sleeve version because I have enough yarn. So there you go. So this is my next, also potential cast on. I need help. What do I do next? What do I do next? So that's 2. That's 2. So the Rocquaine in the Periwinkle, the Sipila in La Bien-Aimée, or another go-to Raglan in, it's kind of far. Hang on, I'm gonna reach for it. Another scrappy go-to Raglan, staying tonal this time, staying tonal in the blue family, in the blue-green family. I would use this right here. I have 2 skeins of this. This would be my carry it all the way through color. It's a nice gradient, grade blue, like kind of denim shades. It's from Teenybuttons. Me and Martha. No. Okay, there we go. You see it. You see it now. Teenybutton Soft Sock. Teenybutton Studio. Soft Sock in her Silver Doe colorway, which is a Harry Potter reference. So Soft Sock is 75/25 merino nylon. It's 463 yards and 100 grams. So that's plenty for me to do throughout the whole sweater. And then my neck will be this GarnStories colorway called Blush. So I know I said I'd be tonal, but I thought a hit of this corally pink in the neck and in the waistband would be nice. I may do the same neck waistband thing that I did there. And then cuffs will be that color. So that's my color palette, plus a whole lot of scraps that are in the blue-green family. Okay, so what do I do next? What do you want to see next? I'm doing all of them eventually at some point this year. Do I do another go-to Raglan? Do I do the Sipila? Or do I do the Rocquaine sweater? What's my next cast on? Comment below. Okay, to wrap up knitting, how am I doing? Oh, good, not too bad on time. To wrap up knitting, I do have one stash acquisition. I had told you a couple weeks ago that I won't be buying, I'm not deliberately buying any other any yarns, but I am a member of a couple clubs, so I have some club colors coming. I'm actually surprised. I was supposed to get August shipments. This was an August shipment, but there were 2 other clubs that I'm a member of that I was supposed to get August shipments, and yeah, nothing. August came and went. I didn't get anything. But there are dyers that I am familiar with and I've bought from before, so I'm confident that those yarns will be coming. I know one of them is Stitch Together Studio, and I know she moved and she's had a lot of issues, so I know that she's got she's a little behind. She talks about it on Instagram. But yeah, I should get the other yarns soon. But the one I did get is this one right here. This is from Dragon Horde Yarn. She's an indie dyer named Tristan in somewhere out west. I'm not sure, west of the United States. And this colorway is one of her Harry Potter club colors. She launched a bunch of Harry Potter club colors about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And this one is called House Lestrange. But it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, it goes with this so well. If only, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do something with these two. But this I'll have to hold double to get this to be this, because this is fingering weight and this is a DK weight. So maybe these have to be something. I'm not sure what, but maybe they have to be something because they just go together so well. Ooh, love it. But yeah, this is just gorgeous. Not what I expected based on the inspiration picture. Not what I expected at all. I thought it was going to be blue tones, blue and black, but she surprised us with this. And she said, you know, inspiration pictures were just that, inspiration pictures. So that is my one stash acquisition. And that brings all of my knitting to an end. So let me tell you about my sewing, because Martha is wearing a work in progress. And this is let me grab this. This is my 3rd time making the dress, not the one on the cover here, but it's from this book, Basic Black, 26 edgy essentials for the modern wardrobe. I'm gonna show you this, and then I will pop a picture on screen. So this is the dress that I'm making right here. I'm doing a shorter version, so this dress has 8 tiers on it, and I am doing only 4.5 tiers. So the front is actually completely done. There's my little half tier down there. I now need to do the back, so the back has just the, you know, I'll start with the tiers down the back as well. And then once I'm done with the back, I will stitch on the sleeve trims, and I will sew up the side seams. There's also a tie, as you saw in the picture. There's a tie around the waist. So the tie is done. It just gets attached at the waist here, right here. And yeah, so far so good. I made a rookie mistake though. I started this yesterday. I cut it out on yeah, Sunday. I cut it out Saturday, but then I started to sew it yesterday. And luckily I had extra fabric, because I made a rookie mistake. This is the first bodice I made, but I just want to show you the fabric. It's this cute, adorable, tiny little miniature bats flying around on it. So from a distance, it just looks like a print. You don't really know what those little things are on there. They look like kind of vaguely almond shaped. But up close, you can see they're bats, and there's like little stars and moons too. What I did though, it's a one-way print, and I didn't realize that. So I cut out upside down. Luckily I had an extra about 3/4 of a yard, and I just went back and recut and resewed the bodice. And luckily I noticed before I did the neck trim, because that would have been a real pain in the neck to rip out. Yeah. So what I do when I buy fabric is I always buy about 3 yards, because I know 3 yards will make a dress for me no matter what, and no matter what the width is too, because usually fabric isn't any narrower than 44 inches. Sometimes it's 42. Very, very rarely is it 36. 36-inch wide is usually a novelty fabric. But cotton, this is a cotton and steel Halloween fabric. And these little I thought that, you know, this is good for fall though. Like, I could pretty much wear this year round. I could even wear this in the summer. I'm gonna pop a picture. I forgot to tell you that I was gonna do that, but I'm gonna pop a picture online of my other short version of this, which I'm going to wear tomorrow to our opening day ceremonies and stuff, and lectures and meetings in my regular job as a university professor and administrator. I was planning to wear this, but then I started to think, you know, this is kind of a year-round print, and my other print, the one that you just saw on screen, is more of a summery print. So, I mean, I think I can get away with it into the fall. But yeah, I think I'll get more mileage out of this later. So I decided that I'm going to save this for either Indie Untangled or for Rhinebeck, just depending on the weather. I'm thinking that this might be more my Indie Untangled along with this cardigan design, because Indie Untangled is a indoor event and Rhinebeck is outdoor, so it just really depends on the weather. Last year it was in the 70s. It was really ridiculously warm. It was too warm for a coat, too warm for a sweater even. So yeah, my second outfit is also sewing, and I have this cut out. Wait, let me show you. It's also from this book, and it is the blouse version of that dress. So it's this one right here. There is a lace trim around the bottom. You can't see it because it's black, but there's a lace trim down the front right here to the waist. So it would be like from here to here, there's a lace trim all the way down to here. And I think it's also open down to here. So the idea is that you wear a tank top or something under it, so you can see the lace on her cuff over there. So this has to be like a yarn con, as my kids call it, yarn conference, yarn event blouse. I don't imagine that I'll get much wear out of it outside of those, but I cut my llama print. So I cut the llama print into that blouse pattern, and I'm going to be using this cotton lace right here as my lace trim. So I should make good progress on this week as well. So I'm hoping to show you at least it, you know, partially done, a work in progress of this blouse next time. This dress, I'm confident, will be done. I probably have maybe another hour or hour and a half of sewing on that, and then it's done. It's a very fast sew. The neckline, which this I think I found my like signature dress. I love this dress. The neckline is this really easy bias trim. I don't know if you can see it from there, so let me show you up close if you're interested. You cut about 1 inch of bias trim, and then you seam it. So the seam line is right here, right along the edge, and fold it and stitch it down. Fold it over, stitch it down. Super easy. So it's just self bias tape. I love that because a lot of dresses, they have like interfacing and a facing and yada yada yada. This is super simple and really easy to sew. The hardest part probably about making this pattern is tracing the pattern pieces off first. So once you've done that, I traced off all the pattern pieces long ago when I made my first version of this dress, and I did a long version. I did a long version in linen, which you can find if you go back to an episode back in the summer. But yeah, I really like the short version with the half, with tier number 5 being like a halvesy. So of course it'll get a little shorter once I hem it. It'll probably be, it'll almost look like a ruffle, but how adorable is that? See so these tiers are all 4 inches and they have like a little tuck in it. They're not gathered. So the fullness of the skirt is just perfect for me. I really, really love it. So yeah, that's my sewing, and that just leaves my weird crafty thing that I did. So it has to do with what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing this is a store-bought linen t-shirt, 100% linen t-shirt from J. Crew, and I bought 3 of these probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And I love them. I wear them all summer, so they're just really loose and slouchy, and I just like throw them on, you know, and they're nice enough looking. They're not as casual looking as like a 100% cotton t-shirt, and I think also with the drapiness of it, they're rather flattering. But here's the thing that happened to me this year when I wore them and then washed them. They started to develop holes everywhere, especially my blue one, which I'm going to show you. I got holes everywhere and really big, raggy holes. So I was thinking to myself, gosh, I got to replace these. What do I do with these? And remember last week I got a mending book, so I started to think about it. I was like, you know, maybe I should give it a go to mend it. So I bought myself, I made sure I had thread that matched, and then I also bought embroidery thread, and I ended up stitching all of the holes shut and then doing this feather stitch embroidery over the seam line, over where, you know, where I stitched for the hole. This guy, my blue one, is really thrashed, and that hole that I just showed you was a hole that I missed when I was doing the repair, so it was like kind of convenient for me to be able to show you that again. And I will go back now and stitch that shut, sew that hole shut. Especially the back though of this t-shirt. Look at all of the, so I affectionately call this Frankenstein stitching. So I did all kinds of like Frankenstein stitching on this t-shirt, but I kind of think it works. I have some on this t-shirt as well. So there's one right here in the front. I don't know if you can see it too well, but it's right there. And then I have on the pocket there was a hole right here by the pocket, so I have some stitching there. The green one's not as bad. I have a couple spots on my back, but basically that's what it looks like. So I just have this like little embroidery detail on the t-shirt. So I don't know, I think it works. What do you think? Let me know. I think it's, you know, they're not ridiculously expensive t-shirts. They are, I don't know, I guess maybe full price. I bought them on sale. I think I paid around $20, $25 for them, which is a lot for a t-shirt, but I think full price are probably like $40, $45, because they are 100% linen. My third one that I am not showing you is a white one. It's all white, and I don't wear it as much as I wear these two colorful ones. So, and it's fine. So far, so good. What I've realized, and I'm sure many of you are going to tell me this, I should hand wash these. Apparently my machine has gotten a little wonky in its old age and is getting a little rough with some of these things, and I should have probably, instead of throwing it in with all of my other clothes, I should just wash these alone on a delicate cycle or a hand wash cycle. But I think now at this point what I'll do is either hand wash cycle in the regular machine or just hand wash, because I always air dry them anyway. I don't throw them in the dryer, but they're just so nice and I love them so much, and I just couldn't bear to throw them away, even though like all those holes, there were massive holes there, massive. So I got all those fixed. So anyway, thank you for watching this week's content, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the content, please push the like button down below and push the thumbs up, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you want to keep up with my content, let me know what my next cast on should be. I'm anxious to hear what you guys think. aside from my commissions, because those have to happen. But my next like for fun sweater, what should it be? The Rocquaine, the go-to Raglan, or the Sipila? I don't know how to pronounce that. Let me know, okay? And I hope you all have a wonderful week, and thanks for spending some time with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.